red paint, black trim, an Autocar badge on the grille of something that looks like it was built to survive a war, not win one. Most people who remember Over the Top remember the ending. Sylvester Stallone, arm locked with a man the size of a refrigerator, turning his cap backward, finding something in himself that wasn't there before. And then, the prize. The gleaming white semi waiting in the Vegas sun. Chrome stacks, a truck worth $250,000 that represents everything Lincoln Hawk has been driving toward. That truck is gone. Sold within a year of the film's release, traded eventually for a Corvette, scattered into the second-hand market and, as best anyone can determine, largely unaccounted for today. The truck that survived is not the prize. It was never the prize. It's the one Stallone's character sells at the start of the film. The battered workhorse he bets against. The truck he trades for a shot at something better. That truck is still here, one of them anyway, sitting in West Virginia, in a field, waiting on a garage. This is the story of what it actually was, what they did to it, and why one man drove across the country to pull it back from a scrapyard rather than let it disappear like everything else. The Autocar A10264 is not a glamour truck. It was never designed to be. The A-Series Autocar, heavy-duty, set-forward axle aluminum cab, built in the early 1960s, was a working-class machine in the most literal sense. The trucks that ended up on a Hollywood backlot in 1986 had started their lives as cement mixer platforms, industrial equipment, the kind of thing you see parked at a construction site at 6 in the morning with nobody looking at it. The production team needed something that looked like it had lived. Menahem Golan's Over the Top was a Canon Films production. Big ambitions, compressed budgets, a habit of solving problems with whatever was available and durable. The Autocar fit. Old enough to read as a workhorse, heavy enough to actually do the work. And there was work to do. The script called for this truck to crash through the iron gates of a mansion, to pin a Cadillac against a limousine, to be driven by a 12-year-old boy who had never touched a rig in his life. The production welded steel reinforcement behind the front bumper, not a film trick, not a camera angle, actual structural steel hidden behind the chrome, so that when the truck hit something, the truck would win. Under the hood, a Cummins engine running an Allison automatic transmission. Hollywood overdubbed it with Detroit diesel sounds in post, a choice that still irritates the people who know what a Cummins actually sounds like. The rears were 5.29s. There was a 4-speed auxiliary box. The aluminum cab sat on a frame that had been carrying industrial loads for over 2 decades before anyone pointed a camera at it. They painted it red and black, stenciled Hawk Hauling on the doors, bolted a weightlifting apparatus where the sleeper would have been, styrofoam weights rigged to look real on screen. Put a man in the cab and told him to drive like he had nothing left to lose. It looked exactly right. Here is where the history becomes harder to follow, and deliberately so. There was not one truck, there was not even two. The production built or sourced a fleet of Autocar A10264s for Over the Top, and the exact count has been a point of genuine dispute among the people who have spent decades tracking these rigs. What can be said with confidence, at least 3 complete trucks were used in production. A 4th unit, a cab without a chassis, mounted on a flatbed, was used exclusively for interior shots, the framed photographs of Michael as a child, the weights, the steering wheel scenes. All of that was a shell, not a truck. The 3 complete trucks were nearly identical. Nearly. Obsessives who have spent hours freeze-framing the film have developed a taxonomy: CB antenna placement, brush guard configuration, the height of the suspension. One truck sat slightly higher off the ground than the others. One had a round backup mirror mounted under the passenger side mirror during filming. These details matter because the production swapped trucks between shots, between scenes, sometimes between sequences within a single chase, and the continuity was not always clean. What made it more complicated, the trucks didn't stop working after Over the Top wrapped. In 1988, all 3 complete trucks appeared in Messenger of Death, the Charles Bronson film shot the following year. The production was not sentimental about what it used them for. One truck lost its hood in a crash sequence, a shot where the Autocar T-boned an exploding blazer at speed. The hood came off in the air, on camera, and they put it back on afterward. In 1989, at least one of the trucks appeared in The Wizard, the Fred Savage Nintendo road movie, hauling down a highway in a brief background scene, Hawk hauling still on the doors 2 years after Lincoln Hawk had ceased to exist. Then they went back to the lot, Universal's truck facility in Agua Dulce, California, George Sachs' operation, and they sat. For more than a decade, the trucks aged in the California heat. The fourth unit, the cab-only shell, the one that had held the production photographs and the styrofoam lates, had the original license plates from the film still stored in the sidebox. The film's physical evidence, sitting in an aluminum cab on a flatbed in a truck yard, waiting for someone to decide what to do with it. One of the complete trucks was eventually repainted, black first with a tanker mounted on the back for Freaked in 1993, then silver, brush guards welded across the front and sides for Tank Girl in 1995. That truck was still on the Universal lot as late as 2012 when it was sold to an unknown private buyer. Where it went after that is not established. No confirmed sighting has surfaced. The remaining 2 complete trucks, the ones that had been on the lot since Messenger of Death, still painted in their original red and black, still wearing the Hawk hauling lettering, were scrapped in April of 2010. April 2010, not the 1990s, not the early 2000s, 2010. 23 years after the film came out, while a generation of people who had watched Over the Top as children were in their 30s, and while the film's cult following was actively growing online. The trucks went to the crusher with the livery still on the doors. The cab-only unit, the one with the photos still inside, was priced for sale at $3,500 around the time the other trucks were still on the lot. Whether it was ever sold and what happened to it afterward is not confirmed. Before April of 2010, someone got there first. His name is Corey Ash. The details of how he found out about the trucks and what it took to get to Agua Dulce before the others were scrapped are not fully documented in any single source, but the outcome is confirmed. Ash purchased one of the complete trucks and transported it from California to West Virginia. The truck he saved was the one the enthusiast community had tracked most closely, the unit with the most documented film history, the one that had appeared in Over the Top, Messenger of Death, and The Wizard, the one whose hood had flown off on camera and been bolted back on. When Ash went down to check the spec plate before completing the sale, it read A10264. The title had said A64B for years. The plate said otherwise. What he found when he got into it, the steel reinforcement was still behind the front bumper. The Allison automatic was still in place. The 5.29 rears, the 4-speed auxiliary box, the Cummins engine which had been quietly powering a truck that everyone assumed sounded like a Detroit diesel for almost 25 years. In the side box, the original front license plates from the film, still there, still readable. The styrofoam weights survived too. In 2016, Ash posted a video. The Autocar A10264, the last confirmed surviving truck from the production of Over the Top, started up on camera, running, under its own power, in West Virginia, in a field, under a tarp, or open to the sky. The details vary depending on which account you read, but running. As of the last confirmed update, the restoration is at a standstill. Ash and his father are building a shop. When the shop is finished, the truck goes in. That's where the trail ends. Not with a confirmed loss, not with a confirmed completion, but with a man building a garage so he can finish what he drove 3,000 miles to start. The prize truck in Over the Top was a 1986 white WIM 64T, two-tone, chrome-stacked, worth $250,000 in 1987 money. It was the thing Lincoln Hawk was supposed to want. The whole movie is an argument that a man can bet on himself and win, and the truck is what winning looks like. John Brizenk won it, not Stallone's character, Brizenk himself, the real arm wrestler the Lincoln Hawk character was built around, who competed in and won the actual tournament the production staged alongside the film. He took the truck on a national tour to promote the movie. Then he sold it, bought a Corvette, moved on. The prize truck's last confirmed public appearance was a for-sale listing in 2019. Who bought it and where it is today is not known. The Autocar, the truck Lincoln Hawk sells at the start of the film, the one he trades for a long-shot bet on himself, is in West Virginia, confirmed running as of 2016. Restoration pending. One man and his father building a shop to bring it home. There is something worth sitting with in that. The film is about a man who sells the thing he has for a chance at the thing he wants. The truck he sells is the one that endured. The thing he was driving toward didn't last a year in anyone's hands before it became something else. The dream truck went to a Corvette dealer. The workhorse is still here. Nobody required Corey Ash to drive to California. Nobody required him to build the shop, or to keep updating strangers on the internet about the progress, or to check the spec plate before he committed to the purchase. These are not things anyone demanded. They are things a person does when the object in front of them has accumulated enough history that letting it disappear feels like a specific and preventable loss. The shop is being built. The Cummins is in there. The original plates are in the side box. The truck is waiting.